Okay, all right. So let's talk about second order differential equation. For second order differential equation, we have two types. Okay, we have the homogeneous and non-homogeneous. Now, the homogeneous part means that the right hand side is going to be 0. But if the right hand side is a function of x, then it is what? Non-homogeneous. Now, how do you solve homogeneous differential equation? We say let y prime be m. Okay, so which means that y prime prime will be m squared. If we substitute here, I'm going to have a m squared plus b m plus c. And if you look at this now, this is what? A quadratic equation. This quadratic equation gotten from this second order differential equation, we call it what? An auxiliary equation. So the solution of your second order differential equation depends on the solution you got from what? Solving this auxiliary equation. So if we solve this auxiliary equation and we got a real and different equation, or real and distinct, okay, what do I mean? That when solving this, we got that m is what? M1 and m is equal to m2, which is two different things. Your answer is simply y is equal to a e raised power, the first one you got, plus b e raised power, the second one you got, x. Okay, that's the first condition. For the second condition, you got that m1 is equal to m2. Now you got the same thing, that is m1 twice. Okay, so your answer is simply a e raised power m1x plus bx, you add x to it now, bx e raised power m1x, because they are the same. If you factor out e raised power m1x, you're having a plus bx. Okay, so the next type is when you have a complex root. Okay, you're now having that m is equal to alpha plus or minus beta I. Okay, now this real part goes to the real part. Look at, don't forget the real part, e raised power something. So that's why we have e raised to power what? Alpha x. In fact, it's supposed to be the first one. It's supposed to be a e raised to power alpha x, then cos beta x. You see where the beta comes in. Then plus b e raised to power what? The same alpha x. Okay, sine beta x. Okay, so then if you factor out e raised to power alpha x, you are having this. Okay, so the next the last two, these are the three that are common. Then the last two is when the quadratic equation is not complete, like it is not 3, it's just 2 like this. Okay, m squared plus n squared. So if you have a complex root, remember it's going to be cos and sine like this one. Okay, there is no real part. You have what? A cos this and b sine this. Then in this one now, if here is now minus, so you are getting only the real part. You did not get the complex part. The only thing is you are going to use sine. There will be h in it. Okay, that is that. So having understood this one, let's now solve questions so that it will be very clear to you. Okay, so the first question we are going to solve is the first question we are going to solve says that it says solve 2y prime prime plus 5y prime plus 6y is 0. Okay, since the right hand side is 0, is homogeneous, so we'll say let y prime be equal to what? M, which means that y prime prime will be equal to m squared. So let us substitute. I'm having 2m squared plus 5m plus 6 is equal to 0. So this is the quadratic equation. Let us solve. This times this, what do you have? 12m squared. So is there any two things you can use to replace that? Okay, okay, sorry, this place is okay, so I'm having 12m squared. So I'm having 2 divide, I'm having 6m squared. 2 divide, I'm having 3m squared. Okay, and 3 I'm having m squared, and m I'm having m I'm having 1. So is there any way I can get 5? There is no way I can get 5 by factorization. So what I'm going to do, in fact, I want us to take it step by step. This question, let me not solve this question. let's take it step by step. The first one we'll solve should be y prime prime, okay, plus 5y prime plus 6y is equal to 0. Okay, so we'll say let y prime be equal to m and y prime prime be equal to m squared. So if you put it, you have m squared plus 5m plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay, so what do we have now? We are having that this time this. You know how to factorize now, factorization method. I'm having m squared, I think 2 and 3 plus 3m plus 2m plus 6 is equal to 0. So I'm having m here, m plus 3, m plus 6 is equal to 0. So I'm having plus 2 here. Is it? Sorry, m plus 3 here. Okay, so I'm having m plus 3 and m plus 6 plus 2 is equal to 0. So therefore, m plus 3 is 0 or m plus 2 is 0. So which means that my m is equal to minus 3 or my m is equal to what? Minus 2. So if you look at this, this is what? Real is a real number and they are not the same. So what did I tell you about real and not the same? You will just say that your answer is what? Y is equal to a e raised to the first one minus 3x plus b e raised to what? Minus 2x. As simple as that, you are done. You see, this is a very simple something. Very, very simple. So the next one, number 2. Number 2 question said okay, the second question here said y prime prime minus 7y plus 12 is equal to 0. So I have this, the same method. This will be what? M squared minus what? 7m plus 12 is equal to 0. So what do we have now? M squared minus 4m minus 3m plus 12 is equal to 0. So I'm having m minus 4, m minus 4 minus 3 and m here. So if you don't know how to do factorization method of quadratic equation, you can learn that. You can check my video on quadratic equation for that, to learn that. Okay, so I'm going to have is equal to 0. So I'm having that m minus 3 and m minus 4 is equal to 0. So I'm having that m minus 3 is 0 or m minus 4 is 0. Okay, so what do I have now? That my m is equal to 3 or my m is equal to 4. So if you look at it, it's the same thing. Real and not the same. So my y is equal to what? A e raised to the first one, 3x, plus what? B e raised to what? 4x. As simple as that. Okay, so the next one, number 3. So you have to remember those things I wrote down. Okay, number 3. Number 3, I have that y. Okay, I'm having y prime prime number 3, y prime prime plus 6, y prime plus 9y is 0. So what do I have here? I'm having m squared plus 6m plus 9 is 0. So I'm having m squared plus 3m plus 3m plus 9 is equal to 0. So I'm having m bracket m plus 3. M plus 3 here is equal to 0. So I'm having m plus 3 and another m plus 3 is equal to 0. So I'm having what? M plus 3 is 0 or m plus 3 is 0. So finally I'm having that m is equal to 3 minus 3 twice. You see? So what did I tell you about when they are the same, when they are twice? You said that what? Y is equal to a e raised to power minus 3x. Okay, plus bx. Just attach x here. That's all the difference. Bx e raised to power what? Minus 3x. That's all. Then if you want to factorize the e raised to power minus 3x, I'm having only a plus bx here. Then everything is raised to power, everything bracket e raised to power minus 3x. Okay, so that is that. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. So the only thing you need to know is to learn how to solve factorization method of a quadratic equation. Okay, so the next one I'm having here said number 4. Number 4 said y prime prime plus 10y prime plus 25y is equal to 0. Okay, you know that sometimes they will not use y prime prime, they will use something like this: d squared y over dx squared plus 10 dy dx plus 25y is equal to 0. They are the same thing. Okay, so this one is the same thing with this. I'm saying m squared plus what? 10m plus 25 is equal to 0. So let's solve. I'm having m squared plus 5m plus 5m plus 25 is equal to 0. So what do we have? M plus 5, m plus 5, then plus 5 here, while I'm having m here. So it's now m plus 5 and m plus 5 is equal to 0. So what do we have now? That m plus 5 is 0, or m plus 5 is 0. So what do we have? That m is minus 5 twice. So what do I tell you about twice? Your y will not be equal to what? A e raised to power minus 5 what? X plus what? Dx. This x is because it is twice. E raised to power what? Minus 5x. You see, second order is even easier than first order. So number 5. So number 5 says number 5 said d squared y over dx squared plus 4 dy dx plus 9y is equal to 0. So what do? We say what? M squared plus 4m plus 9 is equal to 0. So what do? This cannot be factorized. So we say, don't forget almighty formula. I say that m will now be equal to what? Minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So my m is equal to, this is my a 1, b, the quotient of this one 4, c 9. So let us substitute minus 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 bracket, my a is 1 and my c is 9. Okay, everybody over 2 bracket, my a is 1. So I'm having that m is equal to minus 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus I think it's 36, right? Yes, 36. Okay, all over what? 2. So I'm having that what? My m is equal to minus 4 plus or minus the square root of what? 36 minus this is 20. So I'm having minus 20 all over what? All over 2. So if you look at this very well, you will see that I'm going to have a complex root. A complex. So I'm going to have that what? My m is equal to minus 4 plus or minus. Now if you reduce the root 20 according to SOD will give you 20, 2 divide 10, 2 divide 5, 5 divide 1. Double stay outside. So I'm having 2 root 5. Putting my I. Why did I put my I? Is because of minus, because the square root of minus is I. Everything over what? 2. So my m is equal to minus 4 over 2 plus or minus 2 root 5 I over 2. I'm sharing the 2 for everybody. So my m is equal to what? Minus 2 plus or minus 2 roots, sorry, just root 5. Root 5 I, okay? So if you look at it, this is complex. And what did I tell you about complex? What do you do about complex? So you now say that y is equal to what? This one, don't forget. A e raised to power what? Minus 2x, okay? Are you there? Okay, sorry. E raised to power minus 2 bracket a cos the first one. Cos what? Root 5 plus what? B sine root what? Root 5. As simple as that. Okay? As simple as that. So the next one, number 6. Number 6. Number 6 says Number 6 says y prime prime minus 2y prime plus 10 is 10y is equal to 0. So what do? We say m squared minus 2m plus 10 is equal to 0. So this is not factorizable. So I'll say m is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac everybody over 2a. This is quadratic formula. So this is my a, b, and c. So my m is equal to minus before. My b is minus 2. I have minus 2 plus or minus the square root of that minus 2 all squared minus 4 bracket a is 1 and my c is 10. Okay, everybody over what? 2 bracket 1. So I'm having that what? My m is equal to plus minus is minus minus is plus. I'm having 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 40 all over what? 2 all over 2. So I'm having that my m is equal to 2 plus or minus square root of minus 36 all over 2. So which is equal to what? 2 over 2 plus or minus 6i. Square root of 36 is 6. Square root of minus is I all over 2. So which means that my m is equal to what? 1 plus or minus 3i. Okay, so 1 plus or minus 3i. So what do you think the solution will be? This is a complex. So the solution y should be equal to what? E raised to power 1x, but there's nothing like 1x. I'll say x bracket a cos 3x plus what? B sine 3x. As simple as that. So these are the 3 that are common. So let's solve the last 2 that I gave you. Okay, that is question number 7. Question number 7 said that y prime okay, plus 16y is equal to 0. So this type does not have y prime. Okay, don't forget this type does not have y prime, only y prime prime and y. And don't forget what I told you about that. So this will be what? M squared plus 16 is equal to 0. So my m squared is equal to what? Minus 16. So my m is equal to what? The square root of minus 16 plus or minus. So my m is equal to what? Plus or minus 4i. Okay, and don't forget what I told you here, that if it is a complex it will not have h, but if it's not a complex it will not have h. So my answer becomes y is equal to, there is no real part, so I'm having only a cos 4x plus what? B sine 4x. You see, as simple as that. There's no big deal here. There's no big deal here. So the next one said y prime prime minus 3y is equal to 0. See, this one does not have y prime, so don't forget. So what do we do now? M squared minus 3 is equal to what? 0. So I'm having that m squared is equal to what? 3. So m is equal to what? Plus or minus the square root of 3. Okay, and 3 does not have square root, and this is not complex, so it will have h. So my y will not be what? A cos root 3x plus b sine root 3x. As simple as that. Okay, so now let's go to the okay, thank you very much for watching. In our next video we'll now talk about non-homogeneous or inhomogeneous. Please don't forget to subscribe.